Welcome to the Butts to the Seats podcast, episode number 117, aka Bash at the Beach 2000.
Yeah, I don't think this is an episode that needs a number. I think this is a special, number-less episode.
No, it's in the timeline. It gets
Well, it's in the timeline, but I don't think we need to specify what the number is. It's Bash at the Beach.
We made it.
Woo!
And Emily, in honor of making it to Bash at the Beach, I know it's not a 120, but I made us a special tropical shot.
We're going to the beach, baby. What'd you make?
It's called a Tropic Thunder. I found the recipe online.
Oh, yeah, that was delicious.
Yeah, it blended well.
It did blend really well.
Unsurprisingly, the part I don't like of it is the Malibu, because it just tastes like suntan lotion to me.
No, in that mix, it didn't taste like suntan lotion.
It didn't overall, but I still get the overall taste of it.
Malibu's great.
But hello, I'm Nick alongside Emily.
Yeah, I guess we should do interactions. Hello!
Emily, what is it we do here?
Nick, we are taking a week-by-week look at the slow but impending downfall of WCW through the late 90s and early 2000s, episodically through watching episodes of WCW Monday Nitro.
And Nick from episode 1, what is it we do here? Where we take a look at the politics and the bullshit seen on screen during the downfall of WCW. Oh, the audio quality.
Oh, it's rough. I didn't realize that you were quoting this episode.
Yep, and I quote it wrong, because it's...
The politics and the bullshit.
No, it's the bullshit of the politics.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yes, because in the first episode I go, the politics and the bullshit. Like,
yeah,
it's
I
a different
thought that's
quote.
what they said in the show.
Nope, it is... I have to deal with the bullshit of the politics.
No. All right, well.
We'll get there. Yeah, this episode is very famous for one thing. And Emily, I think it's safe to ask up front, after all the build-up, was it worth it?
No, the build-up was not worth it. I'm happy that I finally know.
Was I right to have you hold back and have it be a thing now?
No.
No? Okay.
I don't think it mattered enough. Like, I don't think that this holds the weight that people think that it does. Yes, this is bullshit and this is annoying, but this is exactly what you would think is going to happen if you're watching this show episodically week by week. And you're talking about it for 2 hours on a podcast. This is exactly what I thought would happen.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that this is the first show back with Vince Russo after his little 3-week hiatus.
I don't know why anybody would be surprised if Vince Russo would pull some bullshit.
Additionally, I found a little more info on why Eric Bischoff hasn't been at the last couple of shows, but it only accounts for like a week, maybe 2, and not 3. So
we did do a lot of background work with other pieces of content that tie into this. We've listened to podcasts. We've watched episodes of other shows.
I fucking hate even more Conrad Thompson.
He's everywhere. Who is this guy?
He's Ric Flair's son-in-law.
Who did he marry?
Megan.
Oh.
Or Megan.
Oh, so the one Flair that doesn't want to fucking play?
Yeah.
Great.
Additionally, you know what's weird is hearing people talk about their sexy coworkers.
Huh?
I have listened to a lot of old men talk about how hot Stacy and Tori and everyone are, including Conrad Thompson talking about, oh man, Stacy Keibler was this close to being at like all the family get-togethers because she dated David.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, you're still there with your wife.
Yeah. Regardless.
Without your wife, you're not there, so.
I mean, in their defense, these women were hired because they were hot, and it just so happened that they had other things to offer.
Yeah, it's just enough times passed that I'm like, guys, keep it in your pants.
Yeah, no, I agree. Listening to Eric Bischoff talk about how hot Tori Wilson is a little weird, but then he follows it up with, could not have been a nicer person.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to say has been, like, she's still alive. She is a nice, like, wonderful person to be around. And apparently still very beautiful with age. I haven't seen pictures of her in a very long time.
She got into the Hall of Fame a year or 2 ago. It was, yeah.
Okay.
But we will compile a lot of those stories as we get to the actual moment. But I think let's talk about Bash at the Beach 2000.
I guess let's get into it.
Takes place on July 9th, 2000 from Daytona Beach, Florida.
Daytona.
In attendance, there were 6,572, about 4,400 paid.
Yeah, that's about right.
And Emily, we always do this. It's time for The Price is Right. I'm actually going to give you 2 prompts for this.
Okay.
I think last month did like 80,000 buys. Last year did 175,000 buys. How many buys did this show do?
I'm going to say 78.
other way. It went up to 100,000.
Oh, geez.
So it did go down from 175 last year. And then in 1998, Bash at the Beach did 580,000 buys.
Woof.
Do you want to just cold guess what King of the Ring did like 2 weeks before this for WWF?
Oh, who won King of the Ring?
That'd be Kurt Angle this year.
Let's say that did 600,000.
Overshot a little bit. Did 475
Okay.
though. So
It was a lot.
yeah, not a good tournament. Not a good build either. That's a weird 6-man tag main event for the title, and like, but still 475.
Still significantly more.
I don't have a ton of backstage notes that weren't going before to this show.
Yeah. All the backstage notes are after, I assume.
Yeah, especially because it's the same notes for this as it is Nitro tomorrow, so it's like you got to save it where you
Sure.
can. That said, I have two because one's just wild and the other one feels appropriate for this show. The wild one is Bam Bam Bigelow had recently made the news for saving several children from a house fire and suffered second-degree burns on his body.
Oh my god.
Turns out he was burned on more than 40% of his body and was hospitalized for 2 months.
Oh my god.
So he will not be on Nitro soon.
Whew. I mean, good for him.
Yeah.
The hero we didn't know we needed.
That said, with his head tattoo, as a child, you're at a house fire and the fireman runs in.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, that would definitely be a fever dream. I think that if you were a child in that moment, like being saved by Bam Bam Bigelow, I think you would think that you had died.
Yeah.
Like, what else would you think?
And then separately, Kevin Nash apparently hasn't been shy about telling people that he plans to return to WWF in about 15 months when his contract expires.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
No. The only bit that surprises me about that note is the last words are, along with Scott Hall.
Does WWF want him?
No.
Then, okay.
It's also a contract negotiation tactic.
No one's going to hire Scott Hall right now.
Oh, I meant for Kevin Nash.
trying. Regardless, they're not going
Oh,
to
yeah, they don't want Nash, let alone Hall.
Damn. I would assume that they would want Kevin Nash. Like, he still has pull. But if Kevin Nash is like, I'm not going unless you hire Scott Hall too, like, that's never going to get you.
So, Emily, we did a Tropic Thunder shot, but
Sure did.
now it's time for a weather report where it's always thunder. I have very few notes on this thunder because there wasn't much to note. The perfect event end up getting locked in tanning beds and get severe sunburns. They're healed by the match
Shocking.
tonight. The Cat does a karate demonstration with the Young Dragons. Don't know why it happened, but he just beats him up.
Okay.
And there was a tag team match between the teams of Booker T and Buff Bagwell versus Shane Douglas and Canyon. The person who actually got the pin got to face Jeff Jarrett later in the night for the WCW title. So the main event of that show was Jeff Jarrett versus Booker T for the WCW title.
What a match.
Which Booker lost after outside interference. The commentary's like, whoa, he can't do that. It
Okay. Was
No.
it a good match?
was all right.
Okay.
Not really notable, but they continue trying to have the women who aren't wrestlers wrestle. And they did Juventud Guerrera and Tigress defeating Major Guns and Lieutenant Loco. And post-match, Juvi steals the belt, which explains why he has it for this show.
Okay. Okay. That would have been good to have on like a recap package.
Yeah.
Would have been great.
So on the actual show, I guess maybe earlier today, Smooth and the Cat arrive in a limo.
Yeah, they do not delineate when this happened.
Well, I guess it has to happen right now because Cat tells Smooth to go find the filthy animals at MIA and tell them they're banned from ringside.
So it feels like the Cat and Smooth are like actively booking the show on the fly right now as they're walking in.
Yes. I don't know why.
That sounds like terrible business.
We then get some Super Mario Land Chai Kingdom-esque music, a.k.a. Ooh, yeah, you sure you want to go with that for the Asians?
It's okay, they're not all Asian.
The Young Dragon stereotype music hits, and they randomly corner the Cat, and then they do Disney stunt show levels of action, and the Cat walks off.
Yeah, how?
This was bad.
How the fuck does the Cat somehow beat the Young Dragons?
Well,
3-on-1, the Cat wins? Are you joking?
He kind of... I forget whether or not it was, like, worked inside a work on Thunder or not, or if he actually just beat them.
Work yourself into a shoot, brother.
But the actual, like, level of fight, like, choreo was like, oh, this is...
Yeah, it was not good.
And they were in front of fans, so it's like, if anything, you gotta stiffen up a little bit.
Yeah.
We get the opening video package, and man, I wish they would use licensed theme music. I know they can't afford to right
No,
now,
they
but,
cannot.
like, hum me the theme of this pay-per-view.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's not a good metric though, because hum me the theme of Bad Blood that just happened. Nope.
Look, someone
And even better, tell me what the theme of Bad Blood was.
remember.
Who sung it?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, you can't pull that shit.
But someone might.
because WWE is using licensed music and that you don't even remember.
I remember other ones, though.
Metro Boomin?
Yes.
How many fucking metros do you know?
We then get the opening pyro as Tony Schiavone, Mark Madden, and Scott Hudson check in. The one note I got from Tony Schiavone's podcast was, oh yeah, this is the first one where we use crowd sweetening.
Crowd what?
Like, they pipe in cheers and boos.
Oh, okay. Okay, so before we get too far in, because we're going to probably reference little pieces here and there, let's run down all the extra stuff that we watched and listened to. You listened to Tony Schiavone's podcast. We both listened to Eric Bischoff's podcast.
Yeah.
We
I
watched-
listened to Russo's podcast.
Oh my God.
I listened to Russo's follow-up from 2015. I read a little bit of Russo's book.
We watched Dark Side of the Ring.
I listened to Hulk Hogan's call with Bubba the Love Sponge the next day. I read a recap of his interview a week later. I went through a lot.
You did a lot of background work.
And it really wasn't necessary.
But just so that you know, we have done all of the... Well, Nick has done all of the background work.
Oh, I found...
All I did was watch Dark Side of the Ring.
I found Scott Hudson
listen to
talking about it for like 3 minutes, and he's just, we didn't know anything. And
Okay.
based on that, I could not bring myself to try to find Mark Madden talk about it.
Not worth it. I didn't even listen to it, but you could not pay me to listen to that man.
Our opening contest for the Cruiserweight title, it's Juventud Guerrera versus champion Lieutenant Loco.
Chavo.
So Juvi has the belt, he is not the champion, and a reminder that both teams are banned from ringside. Conan grabs the mic and does his usual bit with Disco repeating the last couple words of the promo.
Whoop-de-whoop jiggle what?
And I said both groups are banned from ringside, but both of them just come out with the singles competitors.
Yeah, clearly that band did not make its way to actually the teams. Because both teams just come out. It's not a big deal.
Now, to borrow a joke from OSW, Emily, what time was General Huge Erection?
I don't know.
He comes out and he does the arms like this. He is 9:05.
Oh my God. I don't know that from most of you. I only know what bar from them.
It's very specific to only Mike Knox. Because he is 10:15.
Okay.
So the referees finally tell everybody they have to leave, and then before the match starts, Mark Madden and Scott Hudson argue about whether or not the women should get naked because it's pay-per-view.
You know, I missed that.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I think it's about Major Guns and Tigress, but it could also just be talking about Stacy and Daphne later. But
Women in general.
yeah, they're like, oh, it's pay-per-view. We can do whatever we want.
We've had pay-per-views before, guys. This isn't like the first time we've ever done a pay-per-view. We don't just let women get naked on pay-per-views.
I mean, they let Miss Kitty do it, but then had
They
to fake
didn't
it.
let her in storyline.
So there are two men in the ring. Juvi wants a handshake, but Loco slaps him. Juvi hits hard chops. Chavo hits a big atomic drop and then an inverted atomic drop. And Juvi bails up the ramp, holding his balls until he just comes back. And this is where I finally have had enough of something. There's one cameraman in WCW. His fucking lens hood is loose, and I need him to tighten it. Because if you watch these shows, every now and again, when they cut to this one camera on the floor towards the ramp, the top left corner of the screen always is a little cut off. And it got to me here.
Is this something that is
Constant.
hurt? No, I'm saying, is this something that is hurt with the burden of time? Was this a problem in 1999 or 2000? Or was the aspect ratio different and this was cut out of the shot?
I think these are all 4x3, so.
I don't know.
But it's clearly loose because some shots it's reverted back and then he'll move and he'll swing back down. In the match, Juvi refuses to get back in the ring until he WCW's Loco. Loco hits a reverse vault to the floor and then Juvi begs off in the ring so he can pull Loco into a turnbuckle. And then Juvi does a 10-punch spot and thrusts into Chavo's face.
Ew.
Loco starts a comeback at 100 miles an hour. Great speed from him here.
I mean, yeah, he didn't look as bad as he usually looks. I'm not a Huey fan. We know this.
No, I was saying Chavo.
Oh, well, yeah, Chavo's great. We love Chavo.
We slow it down with an armbar, but Loco hits a head scissor and power slam when Juvi slips out. Both men are down after a double clothesline, and I know Mark Madden was doing it before, but Scott Hudson accidentally calls him Hooven Juice.
Oh my God, the whole match. Juventude's name is Hooven Juice.
And
Hoovy Juice.
Yeah, and what title is this for?
Oh fuck, what did he call it?
The juicer weight?
Juicerweight. Yes, he says the Juicerweight champion. Why? We've never said this before. And it's also not his title.
Loco sends Hoovy to the floor and then hits a dive to the floor from the top rope. The filthy animals then come out in Halloween masks and are like immediately gone.
Oh, before we got to this part though, so Charles Robinson had sent both teams away backstage. The filthy animals like hugged Hoovy like it was the last time they'd ever see him.
Yeah.
They all got on the apron and gave him a big hug, which was very strange. I was convinced that they had given Juventud a weapon, like slid him something.
Yeah, it definitely did seem like it.
And it didn't come back. So it was just a really weird hug moment. So yeah, they all got banished, and now surprised they're back in masks, which of course, we'd never know it was them.
Yeah, Chavo kicks out of a roll-up as the refs are like, no, get the fuck to the back. We're not stupid. Hoovy hits a slingshot stomp, leg drop to the floor on Chavo. Not sure which one it was supposed to be, but it just looked kind of rough. Hoovy then works over Chavo and slams him for a springboard falling splash. Chavo stops Guerrera on the top rope, but is countered and hit with the sit-out powerbomb. Something about reading Chavo and saying Guerrera there. It's just weird to me.
Yeah, I guess Guerrero versus Guerrera. I never thought about that.
We even had to deal with this because Eddie's been gone.
Yeah, really.
We get a lame-looking powerbomb dominator from Hoovy, and he signals for the people's elbow. And then we get the MIA and like Bill Clinton mask coming through the crowd.
Who could it be?
Loco sits up from the elbow, then is stomped back down. The ref stop MIA and Major Guns comes down the ramp to distract Hoovy. Chavo knocks him off the ropes as Gunn hides, but the referee just like misses the pin. They then counter each other's finishers until Chavo hits a lifting reverse DDT. And then they just go back and forth some more as MIA are like still being kicked out. Then get a Hoovy driver, but Loco gets his foot in the ropes. And then Loco hit Tornado DDT and wins as Major Guns just kind of hides. Chavo immediately celebrates with MIA, and they're like, oh, yep, I guess that's fine. No repercussions for that. And yeah, that's an overbooked match.
Yeah, you made it seem a lot longer than it felt. It was a quick match, thankfully. But these two, I think, like Hoovy and Chavo, are well matched. So it did have its fun points. Like these two do have a complementary skill set that does make the match entertaining to watch. That being said, this could have been a significantly better match without the gimmicky bullshit.
I think if it ended 90 seconds earlier, it would have been fine. I think the lingering MIA getting kicked out but not getting kicked out as they like trade finishers, I think made you think too long almost.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If we didn't have all the interference and all those little side spots, this could have been a great match.
I'm fine with them each making an appearance trying to do something. It's just
one appearance.
It held too long.
Yeah. Don't overdo it. Yeah, this could have been great, but it was only fine.
Chavo continues to impress me.
I mean, yeah, Chavo's great. We love Chavo.
We go backstage. Ernest the Cat Miller tells the Young Dragons that they did a good job on Thunder. And they go, job? Job.
Whoa. That's funny. They're foreign. They don't understand English.
We then get Jeff Jarrett coming in with Screamin' Mimi, which admittedly I did not get the joke until I wrote it out later.
Wait, who is Screamin' Mimi?
Like, if you're preparing to sing Mimi, Mimi.
Oh, that was the name of the fat lady?
Yes.
Oh, I never caught that. Well, yeah, I get that. Jeez. Yeah, I did not get that name.
He wants to know where Hogan is.
Don't we all?
He's not here yet.
Cool.
This literally does not mean anything. I don't know why they did this.
They keep doing this. Every episode, it's like, oh, where is this person I'm looking for? Oh, they're not here. They left early. They're not here yet. Does no one have a sense of time management?
It's just Hogan. I think it's Hogan every time.
Hogan needs to be put on like a performance plan.
Well, speaking of people who aren't here, our next match was supposed to be Big Vito versus Johnny the Bull, but that shit ain't happening.
Yeah, apparently he and Funk are far too injured to fight.
Well, I
remember last year. Last year. I remember last episode.
Yeah, and then he like loosely attacked Funk on Thunder. Like he hit him with a title belt. It wasn't.
Wait, so Johnny the Bull actually got.
No, sorry, Vito hit him.
Okay, I was like, the man has a torn urethra, I thought.
No, Vito hit Funk
he
with
needs
the
a
belt
new bladder.
once, and it was like, hey, oh wow, Funk's out.
Was Funk actually injured though?
Oh, he might be a little banged up, but
I feel like Terry Funk is always a little banged up.
You need a new knee.
Yeah, like the man is perpetually broken, but he just like continues to be. I don't know.
Now, this match is for the hardcore title, and therefore it is a hardcore match. Big Vito comes to the ring. I thought hardcore matches have to start in the back.
It's a great question.
They do immediately go to the back.
It's so fucking stupid. I hate it.
Because Vito grabs the mic and basically explains why he's not facing either advertised opponent for the crowd in attendance. And he's like, all right, I'll fight anybody or like whoever they assigned. And the mystery opponents are Norman Smiley and Ralphus.
Because of course they are. Norman Smiley is just the slot in hardcore competitor at this point.
Or technically it's just Norman Smiley because Vito goes, no, we'll have this be a handicap match.
Yeah.
Which is kind of smart. For the reason that the finish of this match happens.
True. Yeah. And, it's fun to see Ralphus in the ring.
Ralphus is taken out almost immediately. Tony Schiavone then points out they're supposed to start backstage as Vito beats down Norman. Norman gets a few weapon shots as Ralphus actually hits some decent trash can shots in the back.
Oh my god, he hit some serious trash can shots.
And after that, he's just hiding behind the trash can lid.
Well, he can only do so much. But the trash can shots that he did were intense. It's almost like he forgot they were fake trash cans because he was hitting fucking hard. Not fake trash cans, but you know what I mean. Gimmick trash cans.
Well, he's also hiding behind the lid because Vito misses his cue to punch it into Ralphus.
Yeah.
They then brawl around some road cases into an elevator. Vito beats Norman down and throws him into the elevator. I wanted to see him hit a bunch of buttons, but he did not.
Yeah, they could have done more with that elevator bit.
The door just closes.
Yeah.
He doesn't hit any button.
We could have done significantly more. I think that would have been fun.
Ralphus then heads to the ring and is somehow bleeding from his head here. And also somehow loses his shoe getting into the ring. Vito hits a trash can lid shot on Ralphus's crotch and then grabs the table. And oh fuck, the table's already broken. He does not go get another one.
No.
He just lays Ralphus like on it when it's on a diagonal.
Yeah, on
and hits
the
a diving
table.
splash onto Ralphus through the table. And Norman Smiley comes out, but he's too late and Vito wins.
Okay, he's too late, but also he had zero haste.
Yeah.
Norman did not hustle. There was no pep in that man's step. He was just like, yeah, well. It's almost like he forgot that Ralphus was also in the match, so Ralphus could be pinned. It was kind of weird.
Yeah. I think just mistimed.
Maybe, yeah, but he didn't have any run in him or anything. But yeah, Vito wins. Yay.
Yeah, this was just okay. It was fun
fine.
seeing Ralphus get more involved and actually do things. But
I have missed Ralphus.
Emily, I think the next episode is the last appearance of Ralphus.
I knew it was coming soon.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Let's go backstage. Goldberg is here with Scott Hall's contract, and Mean Gene is with Kevin Nash.
Is it ironic that we're watching Goldberg here and we just watched Goldberg on Bad Blood? The man's everywhere.
Nash says he hasn't been a self lately. My wise ass self. And he's just not interested in this promo at all.
No, he is so sleepy. I think we said he was sleepy last episode too. This man needs a nap.
He says after he jackknifes Goldberg, he might take a little survey. I know how much those piss you off. See ya, Billy.
What does this have to do with surveys?
Scott Hall would do survey time of who's here to see WCW, who's here to see the NWO.
Oh.
And I guess because Scott did them, they piss off Goldberg.
This made no sense.
Yeah. Even as someone who knows a little bit of the context, I'm like, this is dumb.
Yeah, that is far too so in that it's almost out.
How it relates to Goldberg, I'm like, I think it's just Scott Hall.
That's stupid.
But Mean Gene then throws to a video package for it's Daphne versus Miss Hancock in a wedding gown match.
Let's do it.
State of the fucking music for this video package.
You focus a lot more on the music than I do. I really don't take any
They tried to make it look presented as this epic ballad, and I'm like, it's not.
No, I don't remember any of the music for this. I mean, like you said, none of it's licensed, so it doesn't matter. But I really don't take note of the music, and you take note of current day music too, or not necessarily current day, but modern WWE. You have some songs on your playlists and stuff. You talk about the Raw themes and the Randy Orton songs and songs like that. I don't know. You're very more focused on the music.
I mean, I'm gonna listen to Ass Man. It's fine.
Sorry, I'm pretty sure Legends of Wrestling was on your top played this week.
We played it once.
It was on your DJ mix, Nick. It was not once. We played it the whole way up to fucking New Jersey.
Yeah, but one of the times was via YouTube, I think. I did like the end of the video package, which was you're cordially invited to attend the wedding gown match.
Oh, yeah, that's cute. It's a stupid match, but it's cute, I guess.
As we were watching this, we're like, weird tie-in to the recent Impact over on the Patreon. Because that's the Lockbox Challenge Impact.
Where Daphne has to do a striptease.
Spoilers.
Oh, yeah, sorry, spoilers. Episode's coming out soon.
Yeah, because that's literally what the whole episode builds to for whatever fucking reason.
Yeah, that's the main event for some reason.
We get David Flair coming out in a tux with Miss Hancock, and she's wearing something incredibly similar to the other day when she said, I won't be wearing this.
Yep. So she lied.
I could not be bothered to check to see if it was the same one.
I couldn't either. It's probably very similar.
During the entrances, Scott Hudson notes the wedding cake at ringside, And we know what that means at a wrestling show, but we got to get the wrestling out of the way
Oh
first.
my god.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I hate it here. He's not wrong though. Whenever there's a cake, it's getting shoved into somebody's face.
David and Stacy make out as Daphne comes to the ring. Daphne low blows David and takes down Stacy.
So there are also hair clippers in the ring for this match. When did this get turned into also a hair match?
It's not. It's just that's been part of the storyline.
But like he was kind of threatening it as if like he was going to shave whomever's head, and Daphne's head, I guess. But you can't gimmick your gimmicky gimmick match.
Sure you can.
This is 3 gimmicks in one.
We get some soft head smashes until David holds down Daphne for some stomps from Stacy. Stacy hits a handspring back elbow and then just shakes her ass at Daphne. Daphne hits 2 snapmares and is almost thrown into the cake. David then grabs Daphne again, so Slick Johnson grabs Miss Hancock, and both men get slapped and then low blowed and then pantsed.
Yeah, we need to talk about the pantsing that happens in this match.
Somehow, Slick Johnson has the worst part of it, or has the worst look of him with the tucked in referee shirt under
Into
the
his
underwear.
Yeah. If they were trying to make this come off as like sexy because the women were going to be sexy, it didn't work.
Well, Daphne then smashes Stacy into David's dick, and Miss Hancock tries to strip Daphne, and David grabs Daphne so Hancock can shave her head. But Crowbar comes out to make the save and hits a back suplex to David Flair. Crowbar then just like reads the vibe and takes his pants off, taking a bump to like fully kick them off.
But like, why? Why did he take his pants off?
Oh man, he showed up late to the orgy.
You gotta catch up.
Crowbar hit a front falling suplex on David, and the faces want to shave David's head, but Stacy grabs a mic. She says to hit her music and strips, so Daphne wins.
Yay.
Daphne then cakes Stacy as she dances, and everyone goes over to the cake and they just throw it all around. Quote of the night from Tony Schiavone: "What in the hell is going on here?"
Mark Madden admits to this being one of his fantasies.
Everyone leaves and no one looks happy, and I don't know if that's a work or a shoot.
Ah, wrestling.
Oh yeah, that's a wedding gown match.
That was a wedding gown, cake, hair match.
Technically, it's only a wedding gown match, just...
There were 3 gimmicks in that. It was a wedding gown match with a cake match and a hair match. It was all of them.
Yes, but at the end of the day, the actual match ended because Stacy decided to dance and strip.
She decided to take off her own clothes and lose the match.
Yes.
But that's not...
You could, I'm going to stretch here.
Don't even try. You're going to
You
hurt
could
yourself.
make the case she did it to stop David getting his head shaved.
Was that a threat?
Because it distracted him. I'm going to pull a hammy there.
You're
But
going to hurt yourself. You might want to sit down, drink some water.
So this is the last match for Daphne in WCW, but it does seem like she will continue to appear with Crowbar for a little while.
Good. I love them together.
Yeah, and I have to ask you, Bitsy-wise, does Daphne qualify as a non-wrestler?
No, she's actively been wrestling.
Yeah, but like when you actually look at what they've had her doing, it's like they treat her as if she's a non-wrestler. Like she would just come in and hit like a diving Hurricane Rana, but even when she won the Cruiserweight title, it was like, oh, this is a joke. And like, I
don't know. I don't see her as a non-wrestler. I see Stacy and Tori as non-wrestlers.
Yeah.
But I don't see Daphne as a non-wrestler.
I think it's the same problem of when I said like Arn Anderson's a non-wrestler. I'm like, yes, in this role, he is not.
But
So,
they have Daphne like doing more moves than they have the other women doing.
Yeah.
She's doing more in ring than Tigress is doing.
Yeah, even then they're pushing everybody to have more matches because Major Guns technically wrestled, but I'd still qualify her as a non-wrestler.
She's a non-wrestler.
Yeah.
If your move is boobs, that's not wrestler. That is a different skill set. Daphne doesn't have that. She actually does like wrestling moves.
Let's move on. Backstage, the Cat ponders who can replace Hogan and is stalked by the Young Dragons as their racist music just plays. Which he can hear. He does note, like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah. No, so the music is diegetic.
Yes.
Yes.
For some reason.
Why not?
No one knows
Does
where
that
it's
mean
coming
that
from.
everybody's themes when they're playing backstage are diegetic? Do they like play over a speaker system? Is there somebody going around with like a soundboard?
That'd be an interesting, like, study of, like, is music actually diegetic in wrestling?
Interesting.
I'd actually argue it's so diegetic that it's, like, it's paralyzing. Because how many times is a heel about to do something nefarious and the music hits and they stop even though doing the thing would take a quarter of a second?
Oh, true.
It's like I'm holding a gun to your head. Oh no, the music is hit. I have to stop. I can't fire
Can't
the
shoot
bullet.
the gun.
We then get commentary stalling for quite a fucking while.
Yeah.
And why are they stalling, Emily?
The cake, apparently, they didn't have a cleanup plan. So the cake went fucking everywhere.
Yes.
All over the mats. And these poor ring crew guys are trying desperately with like one roll of paper towels, it seems, and like a wet mop to clean up this
I don't even
shit.
think it's a wet mop. I think it's just a mop.
Ugh. It's just smearing everywhere, and they just don't know how to contain it, essentially. So at a certain point, they go, fuck it, we're flipping the mats. And we get that confirmed later on, but you can tell us what they're doing because people in the audience, they're your biggest tells. Because there is a girl in the audience like mimicking, oh, they're flipping the mats.
Yeah.
Like she did the flip move with her arms.
And like for a split second, you actually do see them like lift the mat to like flip it.
I wonder if they were checking under the mat to see like, can we flip this? And in that mode, they're like, yeah, fuck it, flip them.
But commentary stalls by just talking about Hulk Hogan and like, oh, why isn't he here? We'll never get an answer. Let's go to our tag team title match. It is The Perfect Event versus Chronic.
Oh my god, I have no notes for this match. I cannot care. I can't care about The Perfect Event. Chronic, I've pinpointed my issue with them. They're not leaning into the weed hard enough. They're not leaning into the gimmick enough, and it bothers me. And I don't know which is which in Chronic, and I barely know Sean Stasiak. Like, sorry, I don't know. I don't care. I don't care to know.
They got to borrow a page from Rob Van Dam and Rey Mysterio with the 420 leg drop.
Yes.
You know how they got around that?
No.
It's 4 legs, and our shoe sizes add up to 20.
But yeah, is 419 got a minute? That is the only thing they have that like leads them back to weed. Even Chronic, that can be used for like a phrase for other things. That's not inherently
weed. Remember
weed.
they had that one promo, you will experience chronic pain.
Yeah. It's not inherently a weed reference. So they're just not leaning into it enough. They're not interesting enough. Their personalities aren't selling it. If they really leaned into 419 got a minute, I'd love them.
Are they called chronic because just their matches feel like they last forever?
Maybe.
Well, spoilers. I didn't actually hate this match.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did I hate this match? I did say it was an overall entertaining match. Damn.
After all that?
I'm nothing if not a hypocrite.
Yeah, The Perfect Event got dangerous levels of sunburn on Thunder, and they're absolutely fine. Oh, are you looking at the next match?
Yeah, I was looking at Katie versus Booker. No, this match I had 2 notes. One is, it's fine.
Palumbo and Adam start. Lots of stalling until Adam throws Palumbo to the floor and press slams Stasiak onto him. The heels immediately debate leaving, but come back, then some more stalling. Stasiak hits some punches when the ref tries to separate them in the corner. Clark then overpowers Stasiak and hits a Cobra Clutch Uranagi. Adams hits a big boot and a full Nelson slam. Stasiak breaks up the pin and then throws Adams to the floor when Palumbo pulls the ropes down. The ref then watches Palumbo beat down Adams, so he turns to stop Brian Clark.
Even the ref is like, who could care?
Work on your fucking timing. That's all it is. It's just some timing.
The ref doesn't care to work on his timing because who is watching this match?
Well, the champions then double team Adams and hit a sneaky chair shot. I'm like, there you go. You guys do get it.
Sometimes.
Because also, chair shot, a legal thing behind the ref's back. That's how that works.
They get it sometimes. It's not often enough, though. Like, you're not new in this business at this point. You know what you're doing.
In the ring, they hit an assisted diving shoulder block. Palumbo hits a sloppy Glargay sleeper, and Adams fights out, but is put back down with a knee. Stasiak hits a jumping back elbow as Tony actually puts over the tag champs for the first time in a month. Stasiak also locks in a sloppy Glargay sleeper, but Adams powers out on 3. Both men are down on a double shoulder block, and they get the hot tag to Brian Clark. He immediately trips on a clothesline. Palumbo escapes a meltdown and hits a DDT. Sean Stasiak then comes in and hits a hot tag sequence as the heel. Kind of weird. He did it well. Like he actually, did the sequence. Like if you were face, it would have worked, but you're a heel, so it doesn't. He hits a diving clothesline off the apron, and we start moving in sloppy slow motion as the champions hit their double flapjack. Adams just walks over and breaks it up nonchalantly, and then hits his terrifying F5. Please stop doing that move.
Oh, did you think it was I thought it looked good.
the guy taking it always seems to land like directly on his fucking head.
See, I think that about Jeff Hardy, though, too. And you're always telling me, like, no, it's good. It's fine.
I think I said that about Rob Van Dam.
No, it's always Jeff Hardy. Every time Jeff Hardy does his move, I freak out. And you're like, oh, that's how it's supposed to be.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying selling-wise, because Rob
No,
Van
no,
Dam
no.
is... We talked about this, with like, just lands on his neck. It's like, it's great.
No, because Jeff Hardy does, like, the swanton bomb. And he rolls through his neck. And I'm like, oh, stop that. And it's fine.
Not anymore, doesn't he? Just fucking jumps on you.
See, I have to talk about other wrestlers to make this match interesting.
After the terrifying F5, Adams just goes back onto the apron to receive the tag, and I'm like, why? You were in. It's fun. Chronic hits double big boots in the corner and then hits high times. We then got what I thought was an engine revving as Palumbo breaks up the pin. Then Chronic hits high times on Palumbo, and we get the same rumbling, and I realized it's a fucking sound effect. They piped in a sound effect for like, whoa, listen to the impact.
Oh, I didn't even notice it.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's fucking stupid. Stasiak comes in with a Lex Flexor. Chronic hits a powerbomb diving clothesline combo for the win. You know, it was better than I thought it would be, but that's admittedly a low bar.
It was two teams of people that I don't find interesting doing exactly what I expected them to do.
Yeah, I didn't realize how much I was burying it during it, but like, look, for what you thought this match might be, I thought it was better than that.
Can't say I agree.
We have new tag champs after all that, and it doesn't feel like they got the big comeuppance that management didn't want them to be champions. It just seemed like, oh, now they're
No,
champs.
it's just they're doing it.
Yeah. Because that started with like, oh, we're getting screwed, and now it's like, oh, they're here. We then get the cat in his office again, and we get the music thing again, and Jeff Jarrett comes in to do the same segment again. I'm like, what? Although, I guess the one takeaway here is that he's impatient. He's like, I'm going to start screwing with the show if you don't give me someone that's not Hogan.
Good.
Or Hogan get here. And then the music hits again, and the Young Dragons attack the cat.
And he like finally knock him out.
Yeah.
Finally. Are we done with this stupid storyline? It's the only time we'll see the Young Dragons tonight, though.
Yes.
Not actually in a match. No 3 count.
Do you know why they did this?
No.
Because the next match has outside interference, and they had to take out the cat so he couldn't see.
Oh, fuck you. There was outside interference in the first match.
They didn't actually...
Shut up.
Yeah. Canyon versus Booker T is our next match. And Emily's already said what she feels about this match.
It's overall entertaining. Whoops.
I said, Booker's fucking over, man.
He's so good. Can you blame him?
Canyon's wig falls off almost immediately, and then Booker spin kicks it all the way off.
Yeah, you remember how last episode I gave an honorable MVP to that wig?
Rip.
Not this time. Rip that wig off.
Booker tries chain wrestling, but is met with right hands. Booker hits a drop kick and a big clothesline, and then he rips the DDP shirt off of Canyon and throws him to the floor. And while he's down, Booker goes over to Canyon's book and removes the hidden brick from inside.
I honestly forgot about the whole brick book angle.
The brick book Booker T angle?
The Booker brick book angle. The Booker...
Kurt angle.
Woo!
Booker hits a diving clothesline after throwing Canyon back in the ring, and then back at ringside, Canyon throws Booker into the barricade, and then lays the ring steps on Booker's shoulder and hits the steps with a chair from the apron. Again, it's trying to look cool, but if you think about the physics of that, it's like...
Makes big noise.
Yeah, it's not a chisel.
Big noise. Listen, this is the same company that absolutely loves throwing into pipe and drape pipe. Noise.
That's every company.
Well...
Canyon baseball slides Booker into the ring post and suplexes him back into the ring from the second rope. I'm like, I love that spot. Booker hits a power slam on a charging Canyon and then vaults over the chair set up in the corner, but is caught and hit with the sit-out Alabama slam.
Ooh.
Canyon locks in a reverse Boston Crab, but Booker slips out, hits a forearm shot, and throws Canyon into the chair before a spinebuster. Booker then grabs the chair out of the corner and winds up for a big swing, but the referee stops it. Why? Literally why?
Fuck you, that's why.
Canyon hits Booker with the book, and then we get brick cam.
Brick cam?
Yeah, it just cuts to the brick on the table. Like, oh, it's not in the book, just as a reminder.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think that was a brick cam. But yeah, it just swerved. He got hit with an empty, hollow book.
Yeah, so...
And sells it.
Yeah, but, like, they seem to imply that Booker, like, played possum here, and it didn't actually hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, he sort of hit in the face with a...
I mean, you have a hollow book in our bookshelf. Like, it's pretty light.
Yeah, I wouldn't get hit in the face with it.
You're gonna get bonked, but it's better than getting hit with a brick.
Booker hits a spinny Rooney as Canyon sees the brick is gone. Get a Harlem sidekick, scissor kick, and a bookend, but Canyon kicks out. Booker then goes up top, and Canyon distracts the referee, so Jeff Jarrett can run down, knock Booker off the top rope with a guitar shot. Commentary yells about how this is outside interference. Canyon puts Booker on the top rope and hits a cannon cutter from there for the win.
I loved this match. I thought this was awesome.
Yeah, this was a very good match.
I think this is probably the best match on the card. I think that that's a controversial statement, depending on who you ask.
I mean, I think it's obviously in the running. I think I would probably agree with you, but...
Like, I thought these two were really well matched up. The match stayed entertaining. The gimmick was really well sold. This was great. It's proving that Booker T is severely underutilized.
Yes.
And I don't want to agree with somebody later in the show, but I kind of agree with someone later in the show.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many times we can say, wow, you put two guys who can wrestle and, just let them have a good match and they can have a good match.
Yeah, and it's guys that, are given silly gimmicks to work with, too, and make it work into the, story of their match. We talk about the grocery shop match all the time. I know, and I won't harp on it, but it proves how good of a wrestler Booker T is because he can be given a gimmick as stupid as go wrestle Steve Austin in a grocery store and come out with really good wrestling. It was a good fucking match. I don't care if it wasn't a match, shut up. But it was good. Well, Same with this. This was a gimmicky, silly match with good fucking wrestling.
Well, he's not hitting Harlem sidekicks and spine busters in the grocery store.
But it still told a really good story.
Yes.
He's a good storyteller. And he can do it with skill behind him.
Oh, God. Emily, can you bring us through our next segment? Because I don't want to.
Pamela Pumpkins!
Who's there first, Emily?
I actually forgot about this. So we go backstage, and Mike Awesome, he's just having a little chat with one of the ladies.
With Screaming Mimi.
He's chatting up one of the fat ladies at one of the crafty tables, and he's doing his little flirty flirt. Pamela Pumpkins, my girl, comes up and interrupts the flirt sesh. Mike Awesome gets mad at Pamela, snaps at her, how dare you ruin me shooting my shot with the fat lady?
Well, did you catch what she calls him?
Mr. Muscles?
Yes.
Yeah. That's why I love her.
Well, that was a Kimberly thing.
I love her.
But yeah.
Mr. Muscles.
She forces herself in between them. It's what's up with Scott Steiner? Awesome says he'll be 3-0 against Steiner, and Pamela's jealous of Mimi because she isn't as hot.
Oh, yeah. She's I know that you aren't as hot as Mimi, but, you don't have to be so mean. Are they trying to do a face turn on Mike Awesome to make him, into bigger girls?
Emily, I've told you, he becomes the fat chick thriller.
Oh, God, you did say that.
Well, he's in our next match. It's Scott Steiner with Medeja versus Mike Awesome. I think it's during one of these entrances that Mark Madden actually uses the phrase "the French fries" to talk about Shane Douglas.
Literally does. He says that Screamin' Mimi is confused about Shane Douglas because she thinks that he's actually the French fries. I'm oh my God, French fries mentioned. That's my thing.
No Steiner promo here. I really wanted it.
Surprised, yeah. Neither of them got a promo here.
I'm fine with one of them. I mean, to be fair, Awesome got a pre-match backstage promo. We don't need both.
Would you call that a promo?
You got interviewed, yeah.
He barely said anything other than, I like this lady.
He said something about 3-0 against Scott Steiner. So Steiner jumps off the apron at Awesome during his entrance, and Awesome sends Steiner into the crowd and then dives over the barricade at him. The two brawl into the crowd and do a walk-in brawl. Awesome scoop slams Steiner onto the floor, and they head back to the ringside area. Steiner grabs a padded chair and hits Awesome. He then hits his flexing elbow in the ring and catches Awesome going up top, hits a belly-to-belly from Brett's rope. Steiner hits a backbreaker, but is dropped on his stomach onto the ropes. Awesome then hits padded chair shots, except this is not a folding chair. This is an auditorium chair.
Oh. I must have looked down for that.
Awesome then hits a ring bell shot and grabs a real chair. He works over the back and gut as Tony compliments the refs for letting it go with the lax rules.
Sure.
Yeah, what about last match, Tony?
Sure. Fuck a lax rule.
Awesome then hits a vaulting splash back in the ring, and then a diving clothesline, and the cat comes out to the ramp. Steiner suplexes Awesome and then hits an overhead belly-to-belly. The cat reminds Steiner that he cannot use the Steiner recliner or he'll be disqualified. Awesome then hits two low blows with his head and then an Alabama slam. Awesome hits a diving splash and wants an Awesome bomb, but Steiner counters and the ref gets bumped. Awesome holds up Steiner for the cat, but it's the one thing they didn't want to happen as the cat kicks Awesome. Steiner then bellies the cat and hits one to Awesome. The Cat then threatens to strip Scott Steiner of the U.S. title if he uses the Steiner recliner. Steiner then does it anyway, so Steiner loses by DQ and is stripped of the title.
Yay.
I guess notably, it does not seem like Mike Awesome has won the title. They kind of note that in the next match that it's
True. Yeah, he just won by DQ, I guess.
Yes.
But are we supposed to believe that the Young Dragons are just fucking terrible at their jobs? Because they knocked out the Cat not that long ago, but now Swervy's here. Fine.
I mean,
like,
I don't know.
In other shows, when someone gets knocked out backstage, they're fucking out until maybe the main event.
Steiner then knocks the Cat down as he's leaving and then hits a nasty T-bone suplex on Awesome to end the segment. This was a pretty good match, and the ending kind of maybe kind of killed it a little bit.
It was a fairly good match. It was a fine match. I don't like Mike Awesome, but whatever. The Cat ruined it. Like, this could have been, again, like the first match, this could have been a great match.
Yeah, I think I like this match better than the last one until the finish.
I don't know if I agree with you on that one.
But, you know, that'll teach Scott Steiner to complain about jobbing.
Yeah.
We'll have you lose your title without having you really lose.
Yeah. Got him.
Commentary then hypes up the show so far and talks more about Hogan, and then throws to the graveyard match. It's Vampiro versus the Demon, Dale Torborg, in a graveyard.
Torborg. We're in like a legitimate graveyard, supposedly. It's like a set graveyard, but it looks like a real graveyard.
It looks like a forest with a couple of things on it, because I was actually relieved to see it was not a real graveyard that would disrespect people.
Valid. That's valid. I like when they go offset to do matches. I think this was like a cool concept that obviously they redid a couple years later, you know.
Yes, there's apparently somewhere in Georgia.
Okay, that's not that far then. Because Daytona Beach is in the Panhandle.
Yeah,
like
they filmed this one of the past couple days.
Yeah.
Which admittedly, the winner of this does some good acting later because they act gassed, and I was like,
well,
what?
Think about it. If they had to get into the ring to win the match, of course they filmed it a couple days ago. That's a long ass run.
Yes, Emily said, the way you win this match, you have to make it to the arena. Why wouldn't you just tag and then run?
Because of the nobility behind it. It's about the principle.
We then get the Demon, Asia, and Charles Robinson suddenly arriving at the graveyard. Charles Robinson has a flashlight.
That is the only source of light for this match.
And there also is maybe some like kind of overheads because there's some areas that look like they're lit by more than moonlight.
Yeah.
But Charles is told to protect Asia. They find a coffin, but it's empty. Then we get Vampiro diving out of a tree. But the Demon hits a Uranagi onto the dirt.
Wait, the Vampiro reveal is so funny to me, though. Because Dale is, like, looking around trying to find Vampiro, and he goes under this tree, looks up, sees Vampiro, and goes, oh, shit. It's, like, so real. Like, oh, shit.
The Demon hits some weapon shots on Vampiro, but I can't see shit, so I don't know what it was. Spin kick. You know when you're writing notes to just make yourself laugh in hindsight?
Oh, sure.
I accidentally wrote spin kick to the Dale.
To the Dale. Oh, no, my Dale.
The Demon kicks Vampiro into an open grave, but Vampiro just pulls him in. Vampiro then goes over to Asia and just takes her away.
She gets kidnapped, as the lore would entail.
The Demon then climbs out, goes after Vampiro. Charles Robinson is like, I'll wait here, and then decides better of it.
It gave me, like, Chucky and Rugrats vibes. Like...
A little bit.
Yeah, like, little coward. Like, no, don't leave without me.
The Demon finds Asia curled up next to a pond. Vampiro then emerges from the pond and throws the Demon in. And like
lake monster Vampiro.
It's clearly pretty deep because they have to swim and brawl, and it's not good.
No, I mean, what did they think was going to happen? Like, this is not 7-layer dip at the pool onto the beach. Like, this is a dark crick.
Vampiro then drags Asia to somewhere else. Charles Robinson has to help pull Dale out of the water because he keeps like slipping.
Yeah, because Vampiro essentially left Dale to drown. That's what commentary kept telling us. Like, he left him, he's just going to drown there, and Charles Robinson's like, no, you're not going to fucking die.
He's already like at the edge of it. It's not like Charles Robinson jumps in and helps him like swim to safety.
Right.
They then find Asia next to the coffin from earlier. Vampiro then sits up out of the coffin and spits blood in the eyes of the Demon. And when I say spits blood, the fucking sound of it. Did you catch this?
No.
It literally goes...
He's got to make sure he gets good spray.
It cracked me up. Vampiro offers the demon the chance to join him. The demon declines, so Vampiro hits him with part of a tombstone that breaks on impact. He puts Dale in the coffin. Camera cut. He flips the coffin into the open grave and then throws a torch from earlier into the grave as Charles Robinson just kind of watches.
Honestly, though, I feel like this was a good match.
Yeah.
I had fun with this. I didn't hate this as much as I think you did.
I think this has enough schlock to where, like, this is terrible, but I can have fun laughing at it versus the wedding gown match where I'm like, what are we doing here, gang?
Yeah, and I like the schlock. I'm here for the schlock. I'm here for the faff.
Yeah, there is a weird line between what are we doing here, gang, and fucking state of it.
Yeah, I agree.
And this was state of it.
I thought this was great. I love this. I love when they really go deep into the theming and the lore.
What's their lore?
They're undead. They're in a graveyard.
In totality, this was also, like, pretty lame.
Also, though, what does this do for Dale Torborg's character and storyline? Is he still being overcome by the demon, or is he now free of the demon and he is now just Dale? How has this progressed his story?
Sting! Emily, you don't have to worry about that at all. Sting's back.
This didn't progress his story at all.
We don't have to ask these questions.
You ask these questions all the damn time.
It frankly is a good point that it's like, all right, did you just kill Dale Torborg?
Yeah, I think so. Okay, here's a poll. Do we see Dale Torborg again?
Yes.
Ah, bummer.
I do know that because I do have a little calendar of when people are done. So it's like,
Well, we know that your calendars are historically inaccurate.
yeah, but if I have them being done later, I know they at least show up again. We do a random hard cut from that to Mean Gene here with the franchise.
Yeah, that cut was very abrupt.
Douglas then cuts a promo how there are very few guarantees in this sport, and I guarantee, Gene, that I will defeat Buff Bagwell. It's like weirdly formal verbiage on this promo.
Oh my god, but the verbiage that starts the match proper, I think, is like the worst thing I've actually ever heard a commentator say.
Well, Douglas ends his promo with Triple H's fucking catchphrase of, I am that damn good.
Yes, I did catch that. That was pointed, wasn't it?
And hey, Emily, if you ordered Bash at the Beach, you can be Goldberg's guest manager.
Is that the giveaway this time?
Yes.
I didn't even notice. I was looking for a beach towel or something.
300,000 first place winners can get an action figure.
How many people get a mouse pad?
None.
Damn. They gave away all the mouse pads.
So our next match, it's Buff Bagwell versus Shane Douglas.
Scott Hudson announces this match as mono against mono at the Beacho.
Jesus.
That is verbatim, Nick. Mono against mono at the Beacho. I think it might have even been mano against mano.
Bell rings, immediate blatant stalling. Buff hits right hands and then a drop kick, which sends Douglas to the floor. Buff beats down Douglas on the floor until Douglas low blow. And the franchise peels up the ringside mats for a pile driver to find cake.
Old cake. Old cake that now has arena floor dirt on it.
Oh, God, you think the dirt?
Oh, yeah, that is crunchy cake now.
He goes for a pile driver, but instead gets backdropped into the cake.
Oh. At this point, this has been sitting out there for what, like an hour?
Yeah.
It probably smells.
Probably.
Ugh. It's got feet smell all over it and sweat and ugh.
In the ring, Buff hits his swinging neck breaker and does his strut. Buff then gets his taint rammed into the ring post and gets a chair into the face.
Oof. Don't say taint. I don't like that.
In the ring, Douglas hits a neck snap, and suddenly Tori Wilson comes out to the ring and gets on the apron.
Why?
She slaps Shane Douglas, who gets rolled up.
Why?
2 count. Buff starts a comeback and hits a Vader bomb with Tori on the apron. Buff goes over to Tori, they do a smooch.
Why?
And then Tori comes in and low blows him.
Why?
Pittsburgh plunge. 2 count. What the
Riddle me anything that just fucking happened.
Double arm DDT from Buff gets a 2, so he goes for the blockbuster, but is stopped by Tori. Douglas hits a lame looking jawbreaker and does a weird jackknife pin, grabbing the tights for the win.
So who is Tori with?
Well, post-match, Tori and Douglas kiss, so she's with him.
But if Buff had won, would she have just gone with Buff?
I think
Whose team was she on when she came out?
I think it was, if you slap me, he'll think you're on your side, and then you can hit him with a low blow.
But she, like, went for both guys and helped both guys a little.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't know. I don't care enough.
Commentary notes that she's his new head cheerleader, which is a ECW character thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's still with Billy Kidman.
Yep.
Why would you have her pair up with Shane Douglas when she has Billy Kidman?
This was pretty mediocre before the
Yes.
Tori stuff, and that
I
did not
agree.
help it.
This match sucked. 0 out of 10.
It is funny sometimes seeing a card and guessing what Emily's worst bit would be, and I'm like, ooh, this will be up there.
It's definitely up there.
Okay, let's get
It's
to
time,
Act
isn't it?
3 of this show.
It's about to happen.
Yeah, because we've already gone a little long, and we're about to enter the talkative portions of the of the night.
Let's go, baby.
Backstage, Hulk Hogan is finally here.
A little late.
He's just walking down the hallway, like, we don't even see him arrive. Like, oh, he's been here.
He probably was just in his dressing room or something.
Gene is with Jeff Jarrett. Gene basically says, I told you he'd be here.
Yeah.
Jarrett then says, Plan A now goes into effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? I caught that too. I'm like, wouldn't that imply that, like, were you planning on Plan B?
I figured Plan A was Hogan doesn't show. Plan B is what happens when Hogan shows.
But then if Plan A goes into effect, that would mean that what you just said is Hogan not arriving is Plan A.
Yeah.
And he's saying Plan A is going into effect. But
Yeah, I'm
Hogan's
saying
here.
it should have been Plan B is now in effect.
Oh, yes, I agree. He's
Yeah.
saying the wrong thing. I agree. We're on the same page.
He also says allies aren't hard to find against Hogan. Gene wonders what that means, and we'll all have to wonder forever. But we get a video package somehow for this feud, which has not been a feud.
Nope. But it's also not much of a video package.
And it's also Michael Buffer time.
It's Michael Buffer time.
Get ready for Dumbo.
This is not the main event,
No.
but Michael Buffer is here.
Yes. Buffer will usually do 2 in a night when Hulk Hogan's not the main event.
Because you gotta have Buffer for Hogan, right?
So, it is Hulk Hogan versus Jeff Jarrett for the WCW title. Jeff Jarrett's music hits. Takes him about 2 minutes, and nothing's really happening. And then we get Vince Russo returning, coming out to the ring.
Oh, I wonder what this could mean.
Then finally, Jeff Jarrett comes out behind him. The NWO music hits, and out comes Hulk Hogan. Tony Schiavone notes a commentary that 4 years ago in the same building, the NWO was formed.
Which is cool.
Hogan grabs a mic and says that Jeff Jarrett is indeed the chosen one because Hulk has chosen him to powerbomb his ass for Kevin Nash. Like, Kevin Nash is here tonight.
He's like backstage.
Yeah, he's in the next match.
Call him out.
Why are you getting revenge for... I don't know.
Don't think about it too hard. Your brain will explode.
Jeff Jarrett stands with his arms crossed all the way up the ramp and then eventually walks back looking disappointed.
Yeah, so he goes down to the ring, doubles back, goes up to the top of the ramp, and just kind of stands there looming.
Jarrett finally gets in the ring, the bell rings, and Jeff Jarrett lays down.
What? What's happening? How could this be? What's going on?
Scott Hudson actually mentions Halloween Havoc. I was surprised. I
Yeah.
figured they'd never mention that again because they did nothing with that story.
That's true. Reminder.
Russo from the floor taunts Hogan with the belt and then throws it at the ring at Hogan. Hogan grabs a mic as Russo starts walking to the back. Hogan asks if this is Russo's doing and says this is why the company's in the damn shape it's in because of bullshit like this.
It's true.
Hogan then puts his foot on Jarrett. The pin is counted, and Jeff Jarrett goes to the back. New WCW
They
champ?
don't say it. They don't say it.
Commentary tries to put over how this is real life, fans. This is not part of the script.
And like, we'll get into it, but I believed it for a minute.
Well, Emily, there are swerves and there are swerves. We've all been swerved.
Thanks, Tony.
So,
That's it. That's the whole big thing that I wasn't allowed to know about or watch any fucking Dark Side of the Rings about. That's it, brother.
I'd say it's the Russo promo, but it's
This-
2 parts.
This is the catalyst, yeah.
It's 2 parts broken up with a Vampiro segment.
Yeah, great.
Because we see Vampiro headed towards the ring backstage, and headed the other way, we see Hulk Hogan and a young Nick Hogan, and that is the final appearance of Hulk Hogan in WCW.
Thank fucking God.
That little walk backstage thing, which that apparently, you seeing him leave there, was intentional. We'll talk about that at the end of the 2 segments from now. I feel like we'll just give our overall thoughts because it is very much a 2-prong.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree.
So,
Oh, I'm sorry. Before we go off of this match, whatever. Where were the fat ladies?
oh, right.
Where were the fat ladies? The whole crux of this whole thing was when the fat ladies sang. Like,
Well, it was when Jarrett beats him, the fat ladies
I
were
know,
saying.
but the fat ladies should have come out. They should have been part of the entrance. Did they just waste money on hiring these women? And they're just like, just kidding. You're here, but fuck you. You don't get to go out.
Here's
Bye,
Mike
go home.
Awesome.
wasting women's time, Vincent Russo.
Vampiro then comes out to the ring with a mic, and commentary's like not ready to move on, but Vampiro comes out acting gassed, and I'm like, it was good on him. I thought
he just ran from Georgia.
Yeah. Oh man, they granted they had to pretend it took place in Florida, but I just realized they missed a trick by not having any sort of Devil Went Down to Georgia match with these two.
That'd been fun.
But Vampiro says the Dark Circle has now been completed, and the demon is dead. We then get discount druids in Sting masks wheeling out a coffin. Commentary does kind of ask this too. It's hard to say if it was the same coffin from the graveyard match.
Yeah, I can't tell.
Vampiro yells over, "We want Sting" chants, and goes over to inspect the coffin. A Sting gets out, hits Vampiro with a baseball bat, and by a Sting, I mean commentary acts like this is Sting,
This
but
is not Sting.
it's someone wearing a Sting mask.
You even thought that this was Sting. This is not Sting.
Yeah.
The hair is wrong, and there would not have been a question on whether or not this was Sting if this was Sting.
I got gaslit by commentary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is future TNA star Chris Harris.
Not who I thought you were going to say. With the hair, I thought it looked like Abyss.
No, Abyss is way too big. But
It's early on enough that I was like, maybe he bulked up later on in life.
No, at the time, this is just a local wrestler.
Okay.
Like, this is not anything of note, but an obligatory Braden Walker reference as well.
Who's Braden Walker?
It's Chris Harris. He went to WWE and went to ECW and gained about 30 to 40 pounds before he did, and they just did not want to do anything with him. But the main thing people remember from his run is he goes up to Armando Estrada, of all people, and is like, "Knock, knock."
Who's there?
Braden Walker.
Braden
And I'm going to knock your brains in. And that's his big, oh shit. Because when he went back to TNA, they chanted, "Knock, knock, who's there? Braden Walker."
I don't even get to do the second part of the joke. You don't understand how that joke is structured.
Yeah.
Braden.
But yeah, so Sting, in all the quotes, attacks Vampiro, puts him in the casket, and yeah, he never unmasked, so it was like, yeah.
This wasn't Sting. This was never Sting.
Now, will Sting be on Nitro tomorrow? Well, actual Sting.
God, no. No, because I'm saying if that was Sting, there would have been no question on whether or not Sting had returned.
Commentary acts
Bash
like
the
that's
Beach.
Sting.
Well, they never fully unmasked him. We never got a face reveal. There is a question mark on it, so therefore that's not Sting.
It was a weird payoff to all of this.
You know what this is, though? With this Sting reveal? Walking Dead. When The Walking Dead was on, it was a running rule that no one is dead until you see them dead on screen. Sting is not back until you see Sting himself.
Okay.
Until Steve Borden is on screen.
Yeah, so I have no idea where any of this is going to go come Monday or the Monday after, but I'm ready for spooky bullshit to be over.
If it's going to be spooky bullshit, like, let's have good spooky bullshit. This is bad spooky bullshit.
Let's go backstage. Mean Gene is with Goldberg. Goldberg just kind of stares at Gene until he says he could have already torn up the contract, but he wants to beat Nash first and rip it up in front of his face, and there's not a damn thing Hall or Nash can do about it. Like, really teasing Scott Hall is totally going to be here later.
Yeah, he's not.
And at this point, you definitely know.
Yeah.
So it's time for our main event. Instead, here comes Vince Russo. And I feel like the best way to do this is to roll the tape.
It's real life here, Vince. More real than I thought it would be tonight.
3 weeks ago, I left WCW, and quite frankly, I didn't know if I was going to come back. And the reason I didn't know I was going to come back or not is because from day one that I've been in WCW, I've done nothing but deal with the bullshit of the politics behind that curtain. The fact of the matter is, I've got a wife, I've got 3 kids at home, and I really don't need this shit. But let me tell you the reason why I did come back. I came back for every one of the guys in that locker room that week in, week out, bust their ass for WCW. I came back for the Booker T's. I came back for every single guy in MIA. I came back for the Animals. I came back for Jarrett. I came back to the guys behind that curtain that give a shit about this company. a shit about this company. That goddamn politician Hulk Hogan. Because let me tell you people what happened out here in this ring tonight. All day long I'm playing politics with Hulk Hogan because Hulk Hogan tonight wants to play his creative control card. And to Hulk Hogan, that meant that tonight in the middle of this ring, when he knew it was bullshit, he beats Jeff Jarrett. Well, guess what? Hogan got his wish. Hogan got his belt and he went the hell home, and I promise everybody or else I'll go in the goddamn grave. You will never see that piece of shit again.
Amen.
But I sat out there in the people just like you, and I know you paid good money to come here tonight, and nobody is going to be ripped off here tonight. So Hulk Hogan now has the WCW belt. And Hulk, let's refer to that as the Hulk Hogan Memorial Belt, because from here on in, that belt don't mean shit. Because there will be a new WCW belt, and as far as I'm concerned, that belt still belongs to the one guy that busts his ass week in and week out in the middle of this ring. And you people can love him and hate him, but he doesn't screw anybody back there, and that's Jeff Jarrett. Now hold on a minute. Jeff Jarrett is still the official WCW champion, but he will defend that title in this ring tonight. Defend that title against the son of a bitch back there who for 14 years has been busting his ass in WCW and can't get a goddamn break because of the Hulk Hogan. And I'm talking about Booker T. Booker T and Jeff Jarrett are the two reasons why I'm in this damn stinking business to begin with. So tonight in this ring for the WCW title, two deserving guys, Jarrett and Booker, will compete for the WCW, and they'll tear this goddamn out down. And Hogan, you big bald son of a bitch, kiss my ass.
So yeah, that's the promo that you weren't allowed to hear until after we saw it. That's the reason for the Dark Side of the Ring.
But there's still the outlying question of whether or not this was real.
Yeah, so let's go through it a little bit, because he starts off with like, all right, there's only one way to do this. I got to tell it like it is. 3 weeks ago, he left and he wasn't sure he was coming back. But from day one, I've had to deal with the bullshit of the politics behind that curtain. Noted he doesn't need this shit, but he came back for all the like up and coming guys. It was interesting to see, like, who do you mention when you say who you're back for?
Basically, not Hogan, not Nash.
It was Booker, MIA, the Animals, and Jarrett.
Why Jarrett? I don't know that I put Jarrett in that.
I mean, Jarrett's just been his guy.
I guess, yeah, but I don't think of him as like an underdog.
But again, this isn't a written promo, so the fact that he sided with them, it's like, yeah, it's just,
sure,
he's a hard-working guy.
Sure, and I do agree with that. And like, I agree that Booker deserves his time in the sun. The Filthy Animals deserved better booking. MIA is also there.
MIA is like, made up of people who some of them deserve a shot.
Sure. So like, I agree with him on those points. But I don't know. I have a hard time with this promo.
Well, let me tell you, he doesn't give a shit about this company, Emily. That's that goddamn politician Hulk Hogan.
He wants to be a politician. He was going to run for president.
So Russo explains, like, here's what happened. Hogan plays his creative control card, and it's like, all right, he wants to beat Jarrett, and Russo vows you will never see that piece of shit again. Similar to Halloween Havoc, they're like, we're going to do another match later so you don't get ripped off.
Which is good. I mean, because, like, imagine being an audience member in that moment.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think? You came for that marquee match. What do you think as an audience member when that happens? Are you just like, oh my God, fucking WCW, all predictable? Or are you pissed?
Yeah. Hogan has the WCW belt. It's now the Hulk Hogan Memorial belt, because that belt don't mean shit. And Russo books Jeff Jarrett versus Booker T for the actual title in our main event. We'll talk about the belts in a second.
Okay.
But yeah, Jarrett is still officially the WCW champion. And Hogan, you big bald son of a bitch, kiss my ass.
What the fuck did you call me? Did you call me bald? How dare you?
Lance Storm. Hogan is probably called bald. I don't know why, because he
He's
is.
bald.
Commentary gushes over this promo, and Tony is just exhausted.
Tony is ready to like walk out. Tony's over it.
Thoughts on this as a promo and an angle first?
So,
At face value.
at face value, it's frustrating as a fan because you don't know if you're the one getting worked or not. Like, it's difficult to kind of put into words because people are like, I think people were on Hogan's side going into that match. Hogan was the projected face, right?
Yes.
So to see him win is great, but see him kind of get screwed over,
Yeah, because commentary does kind of note that, like, yeah, winning a title like that, that's not a very virtuous thing.
No, and it's also just exhausting to be a WCW fan at this point because, like, if you're not reading the dirt sheets and you're not paying attention to all of the, you know, newsletters and shit, you miss all this backstage of it. If you're just going as a straight up fan, this would suck.
Yeah, I like this as a promo. I actually really like this
As
promo.
a promo, what Vince Russo just did, it's very Paul Heyman, and I do like
Yeah.
it. But again, I don't know how much of it is real versus fake because, like, with Paul Heyman, you know that there is like an air of reality, but it is stemmed in kayfabe.
But doesn't that make it a success then if you don't know?
In a way, yes, but I feel like Paul Heyman can do that because he's earned the trust of the audience, so it doesn't feel like he's doing this to mock the audience. I feel like Russo thinks that he's getting one over on the audience.
Well, I think that's probably the best transition we can do to talk about what everyone has to say about this. Because is this Russo speak from the heart, or is it him trying to get one over on the audience?
Yeah.
And it's a mix of both.
Right.
Because Vince Russo's story that he is held with is, as he said in the promo, he's pitching ideas to Hogan. Hogan wants to win. What he doesn't say is he then pitches this plan to Hogan, where you leave, you have to leave the building because otherwise you'd come back and beat the shit out of me. Then eventually you'll come back and we'll do an angle with, you know, whoever's champion then. You have the real belt. Admittedly, the angle of you come back is a little glossed over because Russo's he's back, you know, he just came back. Let's just, I want to get past tonight.
Yeah.
That's all I care about. But he's like, I will call you tomorrow.
Okay.
Russo then the next day, depending on which version of the story it is too busy to call Hoke or is told by Brad Siegel, don't call him. We can't afford to put him on the show. Even in the version of he's too busy, he is eventually told that.
Okay.
So, according to Russo, everything has gone off according to plan. However, he is working the boys and like went out for drinks later and was like, it's probably my last night, guys.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah. Eric Bischoff's version of events is, no, we agreed to the first part. You were never supposed to go out and do the promo. So they leave, get on a flight, go from Daytona Beach to Tampa, which is like a 20-minute flight.
Yeah, it's like nothing.
And when they land, they get a bunch of calls going, did you guys see that? What the hell? Admittedly, Eric Bischoff has said he's never seen the promo. Like, we didn't have to. We got told everything. I think it was him. It might have been Hogan, but one of them is like, I never saw the promo. And I'm like,
I could believe that from either one of them.
yeah. So, as I've kind of mentioned, Eric Bischoff is gone too.
Yeah.
We had the last appearance, but like this is why he leaves with Hogan and he doesn't come back.
All these years later, all these interviews and stories, talking points later, you wouldn't watch the promo?
Jeff Jarrett's side of things is not as interesting. It's very much he was told go lay down and he kind of didn't want to do it.
I don't blame him. Like, you can kind of see it on his face when he's walking back up and down the ramp that, like, he's stalling because he doesn't want to do what he's going to do.
Because Jeff Jarrett is not told about the main event match going into that one.
Oh.
Jarrett and Booker don't know that match is going to happen until Russo does this promo.
Oh, shit.
'Cause
So that's shoot.
Yeah, because Booker was planning on leaving. And then they were like, maybe don't. Like,
So
he got
production
kind
knew
of
that the
wised up
match
there. No, Tony Schiavone and Scott Hudson and Mark Madden all don't know that match is going to happen.
No,
either.
I'm saying like Booker production.
Oh,
like
okay.
booking. Booker T's match was a few matches ago. If he was planning on leaving, he would have left by now.
Yeah, I think maybe somebody may have known a little something, but yeah, it's always kind of vague of who knows what, who doesn't. And let's end with our favorite liar, Hulk Hogan. What does he have to say about this piece of business? Well, according to The Next Day, he's still in the arena when Russo is cutting the promo, and he's told
That
by
I don't
Doug.
believe.
What?
That I don't believe.
And he's told by Doug Dillinger, hey, no, like, just not tonight, like, go home. Which directly contradicts the we were already gone.
Correct.
That said, the thing I don't believe about Eric Bischoff's version is they're on the way to the airport. I guess maybe, I don't know what like the cell phone is like in 2000. That Vampiro segment's not that long.
Right. That's the other thing I was trying to figure out.
They're
Are they
on
going
the
to
plane in like...
Yeah, how close is like the airport?
Even then, you still takes time to drive somewhere, get off, like do things. It takes a little bit of time.
I mean, in a private flight or private jet, it won't take as long.
But yeah,
But hold on.
even if it's only 5 minutes to get there, it's still like, I don't know.
Okay, from the closest arena, it's a 15-minute drive.
Yeah,
There's no way. That's the closest arena. I'm not even sure that's the correct arena.
but they like toy with the idea of Nick Hogan going out on Raw and giving Vince the title. Which, relatedly, I said I talk about the title. There's a weird discourse about the title that Hulk Hogan leaves with, because like that's not the real WCW title.
Okay.
Depends on how you define the real title.
I fucking hate this.
Because
My least favorite answer to any question is it depends.
the title he leaves with is the title that they gave Jeff Jarrett like 2 months ago. Because they flipped it over because the original title is bent up and broken and like needed to be replaced. So they did. Mm-hmm. However, technically the one that has the longer lineage that they had on hand is the one that is in the main event.
Okay.
So he does leave with the WCW title.
It's just not the active WCW title.
It was active at the time. It's just
It needed to be replaced.
Yeah, it's like it's a smaller difference, but it's the same thing as the John Cena spinner belt versus the JBL belt right before that.
Sure.
Like it's just a different version. It's still
It's
the
still
title.
the title belt, yeah.
Yeah. But Hogan also says, I'm trying to get in my contract with these guys. And yeah, he just overall cuts some bullshit, including Bubba Love Sponge asking, like, are you working right now? He's like, no, I don't work on your show, brother.
Oh yeah, every other show I go on, I'm working. Not with you. You get the real raw Hulk.
I don't know how many years later this interview was, but I found another one with Hogan where he claims even the Jarrett bit was completely unplanned. Oh, and in the first version, he's talking to Jeff Jarrett the whole time going, Jeff, why are you doing this, brother?
Oh yeah, there's a whole conversation apparently that happens in the ring.
Yeah.
No, there's not. We went back and watched.
But according to Hogan years later, I was going to win, and then we were going to start building towards December where I was going to face Flair.
Jesus.
Yeah, holy shit.
So of all those stories that you've listened to and heard now, what do you believe the most?
I want to note before this, Hogan's contract calls for him to work 2 more pay-per-view shows, one before the end of this year, another before April 2001.
He does neither.
He does sue Vince Russo for defamation of character and WCW for breach of contract.
Sure.
He loses the Russo one. He wins the WCW one.
Okay.
Because he also sent a fax after hours on Friday that no one would receive until Monday saying, I do not agree to the finish of this match.
Which is so interesting.
So now, according to a lawyer, it's all hearsay whether or not he agreed to the promo or not. So he gets a large payout from that. Jeff Jarrett kind of seems to indicate this in the Dark Side of the Ring too. He doesn't outright say it. My belief in this whole thing is honestly very Vince Russo agree heavy.
Yeah.
I think they agreed to the way the match went down, and I think they agreed to the promo. I think Eric Bischoff's just fucking wrong. Unfortunately, the quote-unquote tiebreaker, Brad Siegel, has never spoken on this. So the version also claims like the main event match was not ever set to happen.
That I don't believe.
Yeah, and I don't believe it for time reasons either.
Right.
Because, I mean, Goldberg and Nash would have had to have gone an hour.
No.
So I think they didn't watch the promo, and Hogan got told that, like, oh, this dude went into business for himself and, like, really buried you. And I think Hogan was already seeing a sinking ship like the fucking rat he is and found a way to jump. Because we mentioned it recently. That Fox deal has just kind of been living in my brain of there's a company trying to recruit both of these guys. And the fact that like, Bischoff leaves and the fact that neither one of them goes to Nitro the next night to go, hey, what the fuck? I think they are immediately looking for a lifeboat out of WCW. And this is it.
Yeah, I think I agree with you.
I think Vince Russo is a victim of shooting himself into a work which becomes a shoot.
Yeah. Because I'm trying to decide, like, who of the three of them has the least to gain out of this angle and, like, how it has been reportrayed over the years. Because Bischoff doesn't come off well in it. He comes off smarmy. Hulk does not come off well. He lies at every angle. Russo's the only one that is consistent with his story and seems to be, like, the most honest.
Also, Russo doesn't get fired.
Yeah, exactly. So
Like,
he has the least to lose, I guess, by doing this. I feel like I lean towards believing him over anyone else.
Yeah, I think the fact that it's been made clear that they don't want to use Hogan, and if the Russo I didn't call him thing is true, then Hogan goes, shit, they're really trying to get rid of me. Well, might as well get my last payday, brother.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's an amalgamation of a couple things, but I think it's Hulk Hogan looking for a way off the ship, and he found it here.
But it's... yes, I agree that this was just an opportunity gifted to him. But the last 24 years of this has just been so shrouded in lies coming out of his mouth that
I don't
how can
know.
you really be sure?
I don't know what the statute of limitations on civil lawsuits like that are. Like, if you were discovered to be lying like that, does Hogan have to pay them back?
I don't know.
I don't.
We did just start getting truth coming out of Hulk's mouth during the Mr. McMahon documentary. So maybe give it, 10 more years and we'll get the real truth about this story.
On top of all of that, I think we have to do a little retrospective of it's the last time we're going to see Hulk and we're not going to see Bischoff again. So how we feeling? I guess
I would rather talk about Eric Bischoff than talk about Hulk Hogan for one more
we can do Bischoff first.
I don't know if I'm happy that he's gone. I'm happy that the NWO is over.
Even then, a lot of what he was initially doing, because he would have been in charge when we first started.
Yeah.
And it was going downhill, but
slower.
Yeah. That feels like elevation wise, it's still 50 feet above where we currently are. And yeah, he kept kind of popping in and out. And yeah, it's not shocking to say, but he got comfortable and complacent and it bit him.
Yeah.
I think with the right partner, I think that could have, worked itself out. The fact that he gets sent home and then they go into a drought for a little while and then they bring in Vince Russo, because Bischoff hasn't been solely in control for almost a year at this point. And holy shit, we feel a lot worse off than a year ago.
Yeah, that is true.
The fact that he comes back and just does not care. He's just cashing checks at that point. I probably shouldn't give him this pass, but this whole period doesn't even feel like it's part of Eric Bischoff's legacy in WWE to me. It feels like he's so checked out that it's just whatever.
This is definitely more Russo than Bischoff in my eyes. Yeah, I think I agree with you there. Because Russo didn't have any play in the beginning portion of WCW, and Eric was so intrinsically etched into the beginning with the NWO and that portion of the downfall, essentially, how we started talking about this.
Bringing Hogan in. He's in charge then, yeah.
Exactly. He is so intertwined into the downfall of this company that this is more Bischoff than it is Russo. But this angle in general is more Russo than it is Bischoff, I think.
I don't know if he'd take this as a compliment or an insult, but I think weirdly his WCW legacy is very similar to Vince McMahon's legacy right now in WWE, where it's like, Look, he was good on screen. He just leaves a very complicated legacy. Very different reasons, but it's
I was gonna say that's a hard comparison to make right now.
no, just that what's his legacy in WWE? I'm like, well, there's a lot of good and a lot of bad, and
Yeah,
it makes it hard to reconcile.
that's true.
In a world of heels and faces, he's a tweener.
He is a tweener, but more heel, I think. Anyway, do you want to start talking about Hulk?
Hulk fucking Hogan, man.
I'm so happy to not have to talk about him on at least one of our shows. We have talked about Hulk Hogan too fucking much on this podcast. We started this podcast 117 episodes ago being like, we fucking don't like Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
We have talked about him for 117 episodes plus bonus episodes plus 20 Patreon episodes. We can't get away from this fucking man. And now we finally are getting some air.
I do feel like
fuck away.
we've earned our hatred of Hulk Hogan.
Oh my God,
Because
yeah.
I think at the time it was like, oh wow, he's a bit of a racist piece of shit, but like he has a big impact on wrestling, and now I'm like, come on, you could have had Randy Savage do all those things,
I
right?
agree. It was kind of nice that we got to boo him at Raw 30, though. That was pretty cool.
You were cheering.
I was cheering Jimmy. I made that very clear to everybody that was around us. Jimmy Hart was there. I was cheering for Jimmy Hart. I was booing for Hogan.
I mean, when we started, Hogan still kind of had that presence
Yeah.
and impact and was a draw, and now I'm just like, go away, man.
Yeah.
Like on top of everything else, but just he just cannot tell a story in a match anymore. It's just
Yeah.
lol, I win.
And that's the problem because I agree. He's not a good storyteller. And if you ask me in a vacuum, he's not a good wrestler. But you go back and watch the promo before his Andre match in WrestleMania 3 and you're in. Like, it sucks you in and you're like, sold. What happened? That wasn't that far behind this. This was like, what, 14 years later? In the grand scheme, that's not a long time. Especially when you look at Hulk Hogan's career as a whole. And that's not where his, like, selling ability stopped either. It's just, you go back and you watch that promo and then you watch him in WCW and it's an entirely different person.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his WWE legacy, he comes in and it's like almost immediately Dungeon of Doom, Saturday morning cartoon bullshit. And then
But that's how he thrives, though.
yeah, but it's even more goofy because he's beating up the Giant and, you know, the Shark as opposed to
Yeah.
Andre
I
the-
forgot
yeah.
about the shark. But,
But-
that is where Hulk Hogan thrives. He thrives in the carny cartoon bullshit of it all.
Yeah, and well, people got tired of him doing that.
Sure.
And then he turned heel, and I think that worked for a little while, and then people got tired of that too, because he would legitimately lose pay-per-view matches and come out the next night and say, I won. And no one would correct him. Like we almost had to fucking pretend.
Yeah, he had too much power. It's almost
Stop
like
the count.
Hulk Hogan kind of became Tinkerbell in the wrestling world, where the second you stop giving him attention and clapping for him, he dies. And he will do anything to keep that attention coming towards him, regardless of how it makes him look. Because he's not getting that attention now. The man is essentially dead in the business, if you ask any fan. Back in the 90s, he was going to do anything that it took. He was going to join the NWO. He was going to fight the fucking shark. Like, he was going to be in your face, and you
if
were
you
going
ask
to pay
him,
attention to him.
I can't join the NWO, brother. All the Hulkamaniacs, they look up to me too much. And then at the last minute,
No.
I formed the New World Organization, brother.
No, he was too afraid of people to stop. Like, he was too afraid that people were going to stop clapping for him.
I mean, yeah, that's why he disappears from television during the times where the ratings are going to be bad. So it looks like,
He's only there when it's good. Yeah.
yeah. Well, no, it's good because of him.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, the endless Flair feuds, just, I don't know that they had a good match among them.
If you ask me, they didn't.
The fucking Yappa Pie strap.
Oh my God, the Yappa Pie strap. I forgot about that.
I know. I mean, like,
Feels like so long ago.
you know what it feels like even ages ago, which was like 4 months ago? That's the wall, brother.
Oh my God. Like, these are phrases that we still say around our house just for funsies. There's far too much wrestling that happens in our household. But he's part of so many, like, memeable moments.
I think his only, like, actually great moment, like, in the course of our podcast, is when he returns to the red and yellow, like, officially, in that Kevin Nash feud.
Yeah,
Like,
that was a
that's-
good moment.
Yeah, but that's it. He wins the title in the fucking finger poke, and then they do nothing with that. Like, that's meant to set up a whole Goldberg thing, and
Yeah.
He just kind of loses it to Flair, and then, Nash lays down for Sting. That doesn't mean anything. And the Billy Kidman feud, I think, really wore us out.
Yeah. That was
Oh,
exhausting.
by the way, he complained on Bubba Love Sponge. I do this whole thing with Kidman, and then they don't even push him afterwards.
Fuck you. You buried him.
Yeah.
It's your fault, brother.
Is there anything good we can say about Hulk Hogan before we leave?
Everything good that I have to say about Hulk Hogan happened prior to WCW. So no. There was never a time where I was excited for him to be on screen or excited to hear him speak. I was never looking forward to his match or his storylines. I was always waiting for him to leave again. So no.
So, Emily, I have accidentally lied to you.
Oh, fuck you.
This is the last appearance of Hulk Hogan in WCW, but he is going to be in the main event of the final episode of this arc of our podcast.
Oh, is he in Daytona Beach?
No, I think I've hinted at this before, but I kind of want to just not end the podcast on that final Nitro. So
Yeah, we definitely talked about it.
our final episode of this arc in like 2 years from now will be Starrcade 97, which is the biggest show they ever did. Main evented by Hulk Hogan. And don't worry, there's some Hulk Hogan bullshit and controversy we get to talk about in that show too. I will close this segment by actually pointing out something I meant to point out at the beginning of this show. With Vince Russo, this episode will be releasing on the 25th anniversary of him coming to WCW.
Wow, okay. That's cool. That's serendipitous timing.
But in conclusion, I know you're a big deal once, but fuck you, Terry.
Get absolutely wrecked.
Emily, how'd you like Brooke Hogan's music that I put on the car the other day?
It was something. Wouldn't even say that was music, but it was definitely on in the car.
So let's go to when it's no longer our main event, and it's like, the show also just doesn't know what to do with this match after all that.
Oh yeah, Tony Schiavone has fully given up at this point. He's checked out. He's gone home mentally.
Tony
He's
Schiavone has the attitude after that promo of someone who thought he had 10 minutes of work left, and then they went, we need you to stay late.
Yep, exactly.
So it's Goldberg versus Kevin Nash for Scott Hall's contract. We get a video package, and then Kevin Nash heads through the back and asks Scott Steiner to watch his back, but Steiner's like, I'm busy here with, a lady.
The whole show has been put into a weird state of mind now because everyone's kind of on edge after that promo. So this even feels out of place.
So the match starts. The two lock up, go right to the corner.
Shocking.
Trade hard shots in the corner. Goldberg grabs Nash's boot on a choke and then suplexes him. Get a big side kick from Goldberg, but Nash hits a quick choke slam. Scott Steiner then comes out to ringside with Medeja to cheer Nash on. Nash gets his boot up in the corner, hits a sidewalk slam. Goldberg wants a spear, but he crashes into the corner turnbuckle. Nash then gets him out and goes for the jackknife, but is attacked by Scott Steiner. Referee sees this. This outside interference is fine. We don't need to kill the cat for this.
The referee is just let's just finish this fucking show.
I actually do have a weird bit of headcanon for this of why this one's fine. Now that Vince Russo has reappeared, he's now in charge and you can outside interfere now. Despite getting attacked from behind, Nash hits a big boot to Steiner, but turns into a spear and then a jackhammer from Goldberg, and Goldberg wins. Scott Hall will not be returning.
What? I was so sure.
Goldberg rips up Hall's contract as Steiner puts Nash in the Steiner recliner. And yeah, it's a quick match.
Good.
Yeah, they got in, got out. I was like, oh, this is fine.
Yeah, this was entirely fine for what it needed to be. It puts a bow on the Scott Hall is not coming back. Stop trying.
Yeah, the swerve spot I feel like could have been executed a little bit better.
Yeah, the swerve kind of came out of nowhere to me.
Yeah, out of nowhere. But also, he just forearms him and then eats a big boot. It's like, oh.
Yeah, it was just kind of weird. I don't know. Regardless, it was the perfect amount of time for those guys. Two big guys that just like to live in the corner. You'd only need 3 minutes.
Yeah, I'm glad this match did not go 27 minutes.
God. Roman Reigns could never.
I do believe, by the way, that Kevin Nash will continue to try to get Scott Hall rehired on camera.
It's so frustratingly cringy. Let it go, brother. I love that you love your friend, but let it go.
I just remember there's an interview with Kevin Nash and DDP that is half cut from the broadcast where they keep mentioning Scott Hall, and Scott Hall is supposed to appear at the end of it, and they cut the hell out of it.
Ugh.
And I'm like, I gotta figure out what week that is because I have to figure out if there is a leaked edit somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, but let's go backstage one more time. It's Mean Gene here with Booker T. Booker says that opportunity is knocked and he's going to answer, and he's going to take the gold home. Can you dig that, Gene?
Can you dig that?
I can dig it.
I can dig it.
So, it is time for our new main event. It is Booker T versus Jeff Jarrett for the WCW title. And it's Michael Buffer time again.
Both of these men are just honestly too good for this company. They deserve a lot more credit than they're getting.
Jeff Jarrett's such an enigma for us.
He really is. And like, I struggle with how I feel about him consistently.
Yeah.
He's very fucking professional. He's willing to do the work.
So Booker comes out putting his gloves back on. Commentary points out the title belt here of like, no, this is the original title. But like, and they point to this because like the top of it's bent. One of the side plates is like falling off. Like it's in rough shape. And people have kind of wondered like, why was this belt at the show? Because people point to this as like, well, clearly we're going to do a second thing.
Yeah.
I think they might just have a backup in case the champ like forgets it or like the bag gets lost or gets stolen or whatever.
There's probably just a backup belt.
Or admittedly, if whoever the champion is just fucking walks out.
Yeah.
Like Flair went to WWF with the title, different circumstances, but like they probably have.
Alundra Blaze did that with the women's title.
That was different. The contract
sort of different.
Yeah, the Ric Flair one, they fired him while he was champion.
Yeah.
So match starts. Booker starts hot. Jeff Jarrett wants to slow it down. They like cut the audio for the ring as they chain wrestle at one point because one gets slammed to the mat and it made no sound. I'm like, ugh, just felt wrong. Booker hits a drop kick which sends Jarrett to the floor. Jarrett gets back in, hits some solid right hands. Booker hits a Harlem sidekick and the two go through the crowd for a casual walk and brawl.
This, to me, this walk and brawl through the crowd is time filler.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't feel like they have a plan out there. It just feels like they're parading moments. Like Jeff Jarrett is kind of pulling Booker by his neck to like parade him around, and then it flips and Booker pulls Jeff, and then it flips again and again, and they're just walking around. Yeah,
Jarrett gets thrown into a concrete wall. Like that's the only bit of action out there. Then back at ringside, Jarrett hits Booker across the back with the chair. Jarrett pile drives Booker on the announce table, which doesn't break, and I'm like, Jesus. Jarrett then chugs a water and throws it, which causes the cameraman to like put his hand over part of the lens. I've like never seen that.
Yeah, I guess he was like trying to keep water off of it.
He did it way too late, though.
I don't know. Was he trying to like rebalance somehow?
I don't know. Trying to fix the lens hood.
Yeah, maybe. Back
in the ring, Booker wants to come back, but Jarrett locks in a Glargay sleeper. Booker powers up, but Jarrett locks one back in for a second. Booker slips out again and locks one in of his own, but Jarrett lifts him up for a knee breaker. Jarrett goes for a figure four, but Booker catches him with an inside cradle for a 2. Jarrett locks in a figure 4 after kicking out, but Booker eventually reverses the pressure and Jarrett gets the ropes. Jarrett keeps working over the leg while shouting at the crowd. Booker counters a hip drop to the legs and connects with a scissor kick. He follows up with a spine buster, but only gets a 2 again. Jarrett ducks a Harlem sidekick and Booker crashes into the ropes. We then get a 9-punch spot from Jeff Jarrett and he stops before 10 because that's what a heel does, Terry. I'm going to miss hating on Hulk Hogan.
Are you?
A little bit. Just nice to like have an outlet for that in your life.
Don't worry, we still have him on the Patreon a little bit.
No, say don't worry yourself, Kevin Nash.
Yeah, that's true, that too.
Jarrett whips Booker into the ref and goes for the title belt. Booker ducks it and hits Jarrett with the belt, but he only gets a 2. Low blow to Booker, and Jarrett grabs a chair and sets it up in the corner. Booker sends Jarrett head first into the chair, but again, only gets a 2. Jarrett then hits a stroke on the ref, and then low blows Booker again. Jarrett grabs a guitar, goes up the top rope, goes for a diving shot. Booker catches him, hits the bookend, gets the win, new champion for the first time ever. Booker T.
Crazy that this is the first time.
Booker celebrates as the crowd is very much into it. Ultimate face, Booker T helps the fucking referee up. I'm like, good man. Booker continues to celebrate as we go off the air with 2000 title change number 19.
Woof.
Not counting the Hogan one, because that one is not in the history books as counting.
It is only July.
It slows down. This match was pretty standard. I mean, with two guys who can go, they worked like guys who were told 10 minutes ago they have a match.
They still put on a fine match. Like, this was not bad by any shape of the term, but like, it was fine.
I mean, this match is all about the result.
Yeah.
And like I talked about hope when Goldberg came back, and like this gives me that same false hope feeling.
Yeah. Maybe a little less false because Booker, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the one bit we didn't mention of all the Russo stuff earlier was the reason they do this is because he asked the booking committee, if you could put the belt in anybody in the company, who would it be? And I'm going to literally do it in the same cadence that Russo always delivers this. And unanimously, bro, every single one of them said Booker T. That same pause between Booker and T every fucking time. So, yeah, he's like the new face of like what they want to do. So
Good. I mean, we were due for a change. And I think if we're going to have a change, this is a good one to have. Granted, it doesn't help anything, but it's a good change.
I mean, yeah, it's not Hogan, it's not Flair, it's not Luger.
Right. Not Goldberg.
Hey, but even Goldberg, like, he's only held it once.
Yeah. But he just got pushed so hard, you know? Like, this is a different push.
Any more thoughts on this match or this or this finish?
No, I mean, like you said, it's all about the result. And I think we got there in a way that was inoffensive. You know, it wasn't a bad match.
Thoughts on this show as a whole?
I think that we've said it in the beginning. I think as a whole, this show is given too much credit for like the amount of damage, I suppose, that it did to the company. What's most frustrating about this whole angle is not even what happened on screen. It's the off-screen dramatics and antics. That's what makes this annoying and difficult to stomach.
Yeah, I think without the Russo stuff, like this pay-per-view is actually like okay.
It's fine. Yeah, there's really nothing.
There's just that
about
cloud, for better or worse,
Exactly.
over the whole thing. Definitely some schlocky stuff that takes away from some of the better matches, but I thought this was a pretty easy watch.
It was an easy watch. It didn't make me want to die the whole time.
Yeah, which is more than we could say for some of the more recent pay-per-views.
Yeah.
We're going to have to kind of mentally revisit them for our next episode, which is the Fallout Nitro from this show. And then we're going to do our Bitsies at the end of that show.
So shockingly enough, 117 episodes in, we've only done one Bitsies before.
Yeah, every 2 years.
Every 2 years we do the Bitsies. Is when we get around to October again. So I guess this is the last time we'll do the Bitsies, right?
Well, we'll do it at the end because it'll take another 2 years to get to the end there.
Yeah.
And
But yeah, we got the Bitsies coming up.
we're getting the band back
Getting
together.
the band back together.
Getting the
Don't
Bitsies
worry.
back together.
I'm sure Nick will have another quiz that makes me question on whether or not I'm actually a wrestling fan because I don't remember anything. And then we'll get into an argument.
Well, before we can argue, I think we got to talk about best bit, worst bit, and MVP. Emily, what is your best bit of this show?
I gave it to Booker's first match.
Okay.
Canyon versus Booker. I thought that was a well-told match. I thought it was skillfully done. I thought it was good.
Self-contained shenanigans.
Yeah. What about you? What'd you give it to?
I think it's the Vince Russo promo.
You think so?
I think like that's the main draw here, and I think it lives up to the hype.
That actually feeds into my worst bit, unfortunately.
Okay, Emily, what is your worst bit?
My worst bit is not something that happens in this show. It's something that happens because of the show. It's the off-screen dramatics and antics and everything that came out of this show.
It's the bullshit of the politics, Emily.
Kind of. It's the fact that we had to listen to so many podcasts and watch so many interviews to find a thread of truth. That sucks to me. For something that is pretty, like, straightforward if we just let it be straightforward. The aftermath is the worst bit.
I'm bundling here a little bit. I think it's the totality of the graveyard match and Vampiro
Really?
stuff. It's so fucking stupid and
Oh,
dumb.
I
and-
disagree. There's worse things in this show. You're going to give that worst bit over the wedding gown match?
I know it's close, but I'm including the Sting bit with the graveyard match stuff.
Yeah, that's still better.
Oh, it's Sting. No, it's not. Don't fucking gaslight me.
It's still better than the wedding gown match.
And then Emily, I think we're going to agree on this one. Who is your MVP?
So I have an MVP and I have an honorable mention. Obviously, the MVP is Booker T.
Yeah.
Obviously. That's like, duh. I will give an honorable mention, though, to Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, I think.
For his professionalism and his just, like, all about team worker, you know? He's good at his job and he knows what needs to be done for the better of the company, whether he likes it or not.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I will also say Booker, but yeah, give a little mention to him. But that's going to do it for this episode of the Butts to the Seats podcast.
We
And that's going to
did
do it
it.
for fucking Hulk Hogan.
Get out of here, Terry!
But if you want to hear us talk about Hulk Hogan and all his bullshit, you can do so on most of our back catalog.
Unfortunately.
Available everywhere podcasts are found. I don't think we tweet about them, but, over at Butts in the Pod, everywhere besides Facebook, where it's Butts in the Seats podcast. But if you really want to hear some new content about Terry Bollea, we're still going through the new Monday Night Wars. We're almost at Lockdown 2010 with Team Hogan and Team Flair.
Luckily, Hulk Hogan's activity in that company is dwindling.
Yes.
So we're almost done with him across the board.
Don't worry, we stop before he turns heel.
We're going to finish the TNA arc and then be like, hey, how about Hogan Knows Best season 3, whatever season we didn't do.
2, 3, and 4.
Fucking, it feels like we watched 7 years of it.
But that's all coming up. We got to do some stuff before the Bitsies. It's hard to compile all that.
Yeah, but it's going to be a good show. It was a lot of fun last time. It was a little bit of a longer episode, but so is this, so,
And next up, it's Vince Russo and only Vince Russo. He's unleashed, Emily.
Woof. Here we go.
So until then, I'm Nick.
I'm Emily.
And thanks for listening to the Butts in the Seats podcast.
Bye.